Hey traders, Raghee here, and in this free video I'm going to walk you through some of the trades that we put on today in the Russell. We probably did our most active trading in the Russell, which is not to say that I'm an active trader, but I'm one that likes to find a bias, a preference. In this case, pretty soon after the end of the clearing, we had our long trade trigger fire. It's an automated tool that we use to give us the direction that we would prefer to trade in. So once the long trade trigger fires, we're looking predominantly, really exclusively long. Now, different traders within the membership like to use that in a different way. Maybe they'll be a little bit more smaller size on shorts, or like myself, they'll forego shorts altogether. So we get the trade, and it does come back for the most aggressive of our post-breach entries, and that is what we call the retest. Now, sometimes I'll take that, sometimes I won't, but most of our traders will simply look at something like the IWM and find some calls at an aggressive level like this. Others might use the micro Russell, the mini Russell to build a position at what we call the retest level. And that actually ended up being a really nice trade. We kept trucking on higher. And there's a few other things that our traders will do. They'll look at our auto chartist derived hourly price movement ranges. This is a tool that we make available to members for free. So it's included in your membership. And we cover symbols like the yen, the euro, crude, gold, all four of the major indices, and we're expanding that list. In fact, we're going to pretty soon be giving HPMRs ready to go on Monday for markets like Apple, for markets like Microsoft, and a lot of the other heavily weighted stocks within the Dow, the S&P, and the NASDAQ. So we're going to continue to broaden this. So we knew one thing about, by the way, while I mentioned Apple, one of the reasons the NASDAQ was a laggard is you saw the sell-off in Apple based on the downgrade. So rather than go tussle with that, we decided to stick with the relative outperformer because of the breach. So I'll tell you what, it's not about just being quick. It's also about being selective. And I think selective was a big part of why we were able to do so well with the Russell. But let's fast forward to the news of the tariffs and the fact that despite the fact that phase one is expected to be signed tomorrow and everything seems to be going well, the U.S. is not going to remove the tariffs until after the election. The market didn't like that so much. And yet, we know that for the most part, fading, history's been telling us, fading bad news about tariffs actually makes a lot of sense. Now, this is now after the fact. These were all alerts, by the way. Everything I'm talking to you all about setups and trades are all alerts and conversations happening live in real time, actionable in the chat room. So one of the things that we did have when the market sold off, which was terrific and led to the next alert in the Russell, was a buy in this area where the cluster of time-anchored VWAPs and our auto chartist HPMRs were overlapping in this area, and we decided to get long. And the whole idea was this. In fact, I'll read the alert verbatim. RTY, Russell, afternoon runner day trade. What does that mean? This was one of those markets that was a runner. It took out its initial balance level. Therefore, coming back to the VWAP was valid. The VWAP cluster between the VWAP cluster and the HPMR of 2 to 3 o'clock are overlapping to give us an entry between 1673.5 and 1672 even. I gave everyone the stop loss level and the first profit target, and off we went. In fact, the first profit target was derived from the HPMR, and that was a 1678.5. So really nice afternoon, kind of unusual for me because I don't day trade the afternoon very often, but pretty darn good day in the Russell. And you'll notice, even with the sell-off, rather than jump in and try to take advantage of that, which there's nothing wrong with that, I stuck with, we took a lot of this ride higher, and I stuck with the bullish bias, giving me a really nice pinpoint accurate entry here at the VWAPs plus the HPMR. And then another thing that we look at in the room was the fact that we had, as you can see here, reverted to the mean of the V score. So we'll talk about these setups and more. We go into the premium video, but all in all, a really nice day for our setups. I'll jump into the V-score a little bit. V-score is a name made up by myself to talk about the standard deviation measurement between volume-weighted average price and price. We'll dive more into some of these volume discussions in the premium video. In the meanwhile, I'll see you in the next update.